It's time for some budget bombs. Powerful commander cards for under $1.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. New videos every day. This one happens to be about budget cards. If you would like to use the money you're saving on budget cards to support the channel, you can go to Patreon and give us actual dollars from your pocket. We would love it a lot. It's kind of like throwing tip money in the tip jar.
Yes, and this channel needs your support so we cannot do ads for crappy mobile games.
Yes. If we do one, you know that you failed us.
You know that you're not giving us enough money to keep this channel going.
Yeah, let's actually talk about a real thing that you can do to support the channel. It's IntoTheAM. You can buy awesome t-shirts and save 10% with our link. Get compliments guaranteed.
Yes, you will get compliments on your awesome t-shirts. This channel sponsored by Maraschiello.com. There's an ad somewhere in this video. Can you guess where it is in the comments? No, because if you do, you cheated.
Yeah, we got powerful cards in Commander for under $1. These are the budget bombs. So we're going to start with Combat Calligrapher. It's 3 and a white for 3/3, and you're going to make a bunch of Inklings. The Inklings are going to be flying all over the table, and they can't attack you if this thing's in play.
This thing adds a lot of damage really quickly, both for you and for your opponents. It incentivizes them to attack other players, which is super awesome, because if they're attacking other players, guess who they're not attacking in that case? You. So this card just ends up making so many guys in the field. If you have awesome things like I have this in my Ishin deck, you can attack and add just 6 of these each combat, which just gets super silly.
I mean, this thing does require a little bit of a board state to get the maximum benefit, but when you do, it's 4 mana, 3/3 flyer, also comes with 3 2/1 flyers that all just stick around independent of each other, and the potential is even greater than that.
Yeah, exactly. And this just works with all of your token synergies, your Cathar's Crusades, all of this stuff, all these cards that you want to play in these kind of decks anyway, just benefit from this. And on top of that, the gravy on top, your opponents get it for attacking your other opponents, and those Inklings, they are coming at you unless Combat Calligrapher is specifically removed.
It's just a giant walking headache, and it's only 30 cents, so you should definitely pick it up for your white decks.
You also get you get the attack first. Its ability has haste, which is so good on it.
Next, we got Sangromancer. This is another 4 mana 3/3 flyer, weirdly enough. It's 54 cents, and it's saying that your opponent's discarding cards or creatures dying from them gain you 3 life each, which is a lot, especially when there's board wipes or wheels or anything like that.
I like this in heavy removal decks in combat metas. So if you're removing a ton of things off of the battlefield, that's awesome. Obviously, if you're making your opponent's discard, same thing. I mean, it's going to be really, really strong in that case. When you're gaining upwards of 15, to up to 21 life with this card on the regular, love it.
It goes really well with things like Gyre Reach Sanitarium, which is an easy include. Even just like Curtain's Call, Soul Shatters. Get those 3-for-1s. Shadowgrange Archfiend, they're all perfect with this card.
Yeah, there's a million. I mean, heavy removal decks, I think, is where you put this. Generally, life gain isn't that great if there's going to be combos in the game. I wouldn't worry about playing a card like this in a combo meta. But if you're in some sort of combat meta where the game's going to end via combat, I'm high on this card.
And I wasn't looking ahead, I swear. But the next card is actually Curtain's Call, which is a budget bomb. It was not a budget bomb for the longest time, but now it is 69 cents, which is a very nice pickup. It just destroys 2 creatures for 3 mana, assuming you're in a 4-player game, which is kind of the default.
Yeah, that's Undaunted. But this actually scales and can be better. Obviously, it's worse in a one-on-one or a 3-player game. But if you're playing a 5 or 6-player game, this thing could just cost 0 mana.
We were playing a 6-player game, and our friend Ken got to cast it for black,
which is hilarious. It's so funny how good this card is. If you're playing a 6-player game, it's black, destroy 2 target creatures. That's a good Magic card.
Yeah, 3 mana 2-for-1 straight up with no caveats. I'm actually kind of okay with that. It's pretty good. It's not like the pinnacle of removal, but especially on a budget, please get the Hero's Downfalls out of here. There's no more excuses anymore, because now it's just 2 of them for the same mana cost.
Oh my god, yeah. Curtain's Call is 10 times better than Hero's Downfall. It's not even comparable in any
Now that
way.
it's budget, we should be seeing a lot more of it.
Yeah, we if you see Hero's Downfall, be like, yeah, Curtain's Call in that deck?
What if you could do 2 of those at once?
2? Yeah, what if you could, instead of doing that, be better?
You could remove flavor text, Planeswalker, and add the cool stuff. What's next?
Next is Brash Taunter, 74 cents. Absolutely love this card. It's a 5 mana 1/1. Whenever it's dealt damage, you can deal that much damage to an opponent, and you can pay 3, tap it, and have it fight any creature on the battlefield.
Yeah, another classic. Don't even go near this if combos are possible. But we've powered our metas, and we're in the 5 to 7.5 range without those combos, and this thing just sticks in play for the most part. And is a real headache. They have to kill it, or else it's just going to start flinging 7 damage at them a turn.
Yeah, exactly. And you just end up leaving up 3 mana. You wait till your turn's coming up, and then you go, all right, let's activate this, fight the biggest creature on the battlefield, and dish out that much damage to whoever the threat is at the time.
Plus, it's like a more effective Ghostly Prison. If you don't have Trample, there's no point attacking.
Yeah, that's right. You're not going to attack into this. Though it also has political side of, hey, send your 10-10 at me. Yeah, they have tons of blockers. But guess what? Send it at me. I'll block, and I'll send the 10 damage directly at their face.
Yeah, you can really team up and kill people even through blockers, which is sweet. And we have another new Budget Bomb member, Cherries. What is it?
It's Sakura Tribelder, currently 98 cents. And this is just one of the better ramp spells in the format, especially when you have creature synergies. This card is silly good.
First time I believe this card has ever been under $1, and certainly any time recently that it's been under $1. It's been reprinted 1,000 times. Finally, you can get it at Budget Bomb premium pricing. This should and can be in like 90% of green decks.
Yeah, I mean, Sakura Tribelder is obviously an amazing Magic card. It's not one we have to hype up too much. Turns out when you take an effect like
Rampant
Growth, and just put it on a creature, suddenly it becomes a lot better because things like Mirren, Carador, and so many other decks could just recur this, use it. When it dies, I draw a card because of my Grim Horror specs. All these little synergies make this card 100 times better than what Rampant Growth is.
And this next one could almost go in overperformers because every time I see it, I just roll my eyes into the back of my skull, and I'm constantly questioning how I'm going to get out from under this rug of smothering, which is 10 cents because it's been printed 1 trillion times on Baldur's Gate. And it is actually just great. It's a 3 mana investment, and you're going to get it back guaranteed.
Yes.
Plus, you go last as far as taking damage.
Yes, exactly. You always cast this last in your turn. Something I really, really like about this card is that the wheel spinning decks get punished a lot, and if your strategy is more of a cast big spells, cast stuff at instant speed, and you're not just going to, get a storm kind of like 7 or 8, it's so much better for you. In the deck I play it in, it's a heavy removal deck that it's a draw go deck often. So I just, I play whatever I'm going to play, and then I slam this at the end and hold up my removal. Or I just slam my big, giant, silly threat, which my decks, all my decks love to do. And then it's only, I lose 1 life. Okay, go. And then BZ's going to go cantrip.
Yeah,
lose
all
30
of my
life.
All of my decks are preordained, and let's find a removal spell, deep analysis, flash it back. I already lost.
If you're playing, you want synergy with this in some way, like the deck I play it in is a pseudo burn deck. You can play it in heavy artifact synergies. If you're playing a stompier type deck where your goal is like play 1, 2 big spells every turn, that's what you're doing. This card can just be a great addition because your opponents aren't necessarily doing that. I mean, if your own meta's that, this card sucks.
If you're playing Lysa, this needs to be in your deck because it's the same effect. It really is like as good as her static because it's worse the first spell, but then every spell after that it's better or on par.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rug of Smothering is a card that I think a lot more people should try, and I know it's not a fun card, and I think that's the reason it won't end up in a lot of decks is who wants to play against this card? It's not super fun, but it does fit. If it fits your strategy and it fits your theme, I would put it in your deck.
If the rug fits, wear it.
Ride it. Yeah, you ride rugs.
You also ride Zatzville to Zatzville.
Zatzville.
It's 36 cents. I nailed it, and it makes a bunch of 0/1s and exiles all the opponent's graveyards. Kind of a speculative one, I feel like. We haven't really tried this card a ton, but it looks good on paper.
Yes, I want to be clear that that's a very good point. I have just put this into the deck, and I'm going to be testing it, and I have very high hopes for it. I think it makes a lot of chump blockers. Those chump blockers are useful in the right deck, and it exiles your opponent's graveyard. This is an effect that we've talked about recently. We had a whole video where we basically, two of the most important things you can do for your commander deck, well, one is add graveyard hate. This card does that, and I'm super interested in trying it. I really think it's going to be an overperformer, and I think it's going to be a card that I include in more decks going forward.
Yeah, make sure you can use all the sack fodder for something or anthem them up.
Yeah, Zatzville is perfect for your aristocrat strategies. You know what else is perfect for aristocrat strategies?
I can't think of anything.
Moxfield.com, the best deck building website on the whole internet. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Nitpicking Nerds, I've been using Redacted Site for so long, and just want to keep using Redacted Site. No, Redacted Site is no good. Moxfield is the honest-to-God best deck building website out there. So many features that you didn't know you wanted. Do you want to know when the full moon is? Because when you look on Moxfield, if there are glowing eyes, you can toggle the laser eyes onto your things. That means there's a full moon. What other deck building website is telling you when there's a full moon?
You can't track the moon cycle with Redacted website.
Exactly.
You also can't directly message the owners and makers of Redacted website and suggest improvements which can be implemented same day. Like, these people are awesome. Harry and all these guys at Moxfield, they're amazing.
Harry and John are out there. Literally, you go to the Discord, the Moxfield Discord, you make suggestions, you have an issue, they check it out so fast. They fix it, and they make this website work for every individual as good as it can. These guys are awesome. We love you, Harry and John, and we love you, Moxfield.com.
And we love Immolating Gyre, which is only 43 cents. And this card, I don't really know how it's so cheap, because it's like a mythic rare. I think it's from Jumpstart only. Maybe it was reprinted and I don't know about it. But it's a Spellslinger one-sided board wipe straight up that only costs 6.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I really like about this card is this is a one-sided effect. If we're getting this effect and wiping our own board, it'd be meh.
It'd be so filler.
It'd be filler. It'd be overcosted board wipe. I wouldn't be interested. For 6 mana, now we're wiping the opponent's side of the board. I'm in. This is awesome. I think one-sided board wipes are often underestimated, which is weird because people love the card like Inguruk's Wake.
Yeah.
The 9 mana version, it's like that's a played card. People love that card. It's super cool. This is so much better than Inguruk's Wake. Like, it doesn't wipe out Planeswalkers, but who in God's name cares? Actually, does it? Does it? Actually, shut up, Past Joe. It does wipe out Planeswalkers. What was I even talking about? This card is so much better than something like Inguruk's Wake, which actually sees play. All you need is probably, I would say, a 30. You want a 30 count of instants and sorceries? Yeah, that's high, but once you've reached that, you're in for this card.
The decks that can run this successfully just need to play Magic, and then it's just Plague Wind. Don't even think about it. You just need 5, 6, 7. That's so easy. We're throwing Mental Note, Thought Scour, Factor Fiction, all these cards we're already playing in the Spellslinger deck. There's no excuse not to play Alienating Gyre. It's really, really good.
Super solid, especially on a budget. I mean, on a budget, I'm 100% in. I mean, I could see like your higher power Spellslinger decks being like, I don't quite need this, but on a budget, there's not an excuse.
It's really great. Even in high power, I could see it.
Yes. Next, we have Big Game Hunter, but we always call him lovingly Big Gay Hunter.
Legendary creature. His name's Hunter.
Legendary creature, Big Gay Hunter. And Big Gay Hunter is a 3 mana, comes down, destroys something with 4 power or greater. But madness is for 1. So if you have any discard synergies, any madness synergies, this is actually a solid removal spell.
Yeah, and you can discard 23 cents to just pick one up right now. It's never going to go up. It's never going to go down. This card is worth dirt, and it will forever be worth dirt. But it's a really good pickup for your budget decks. Any deck that can discard, or even decks that just want creatures like Ravenous Choops, this thing does a really good impression on the base level of like destroy something relevant.
Yeah, I mean it is 3 mana for a 1/1 to come in ETB and get rid of a big threat on the battlefield. And if you can cast it for its 1 mana cost, card's amazing. That is obviously
it's like unmatched.
That is a very, very good Magic card. Not every deck, but a lot of decks would be running 1 mana 1/1 enters the battlefield, destroy a creature power 4 or greater.
And draw a card, because that's generally what happens when you discard.
Yes, because when you most discards are discard draw. Right. That's usually how you go with those.
Or even draw a discard, but it's like, well, I'm discarding. I'm up a card. If I cast the card a discard, I'm not down any cards.
Yeah, exactly. Big Gay Hunter is lovable, gay, and cheap.
And shout out to Madanon for making the best graphic
Thank you.
I've ever seen in my life.
This graphic is pretty dang awesome.
Yeah. Up next might be the cheapest entry in Budget Bombs history. 7 cents for Garna. Very recent card. Super amazing, tacky sack fodder type payoff. If you're sacrificing creatures and you can attack, this card's really actually just great beyond the power level of budget decks most of the time.
Yeah, I do think this card is very, very good. It's already got an aristocrat type effect right on it. And if you're attacking with those creatures, this lets you chump attack and get something back. It's really cool. If I was playing Garna as a commander, or if my deck already had things that swing and make those 1/1 tokens when they swing, chef's kiss. It's so perfect. How you swing and then you add those 2 1/1 tokens. You say this get eaten up like a Brimaz type effect. Any card like that. There was an example.
Adeline. Adeline's much
Adeline, Hanwar Garrison, those ones. Add those. Is it the Hanwar Garrison?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hanwar Garrison. All those cards work so perfectly with this. Throw in your stupid 1/1 attackers. What are they going to do? Take 2? Sure. You're fine with that. You get to keep your tokens. What are they going to do? Block? Okay, that's fine too, because we get cards now.
Finally, a use for all my Zot's Will tokens. These two seem to go very well hand in hand. A little Graveyard Hate. And, here's 7 tokens to sacrifice to either deal 21 damage divided or just draw 7 cards.
I bet you Garner would be an awesome $50 budget deck.
Oh, it would be real good. I'm actually already getting ideas.
The juices are flowing.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm using Moxfield.com.
Of course. I mean, that was a given. Who's next?
Next is a card I'm surprised went under $1. We've been high in it since its release, and it's Aerial Extortionist at 47 cents. Whenever it's a 4/3 flyer for 5, when it enters or when it deals combat damage, you exile a non-land permanent, and then they can recast it if they want. But when they recast it, you draw cards. And that's not just when they recast that. No, it's a card from anywhere other than their hand. This card is powerful.
This card is a lot. It's really disruptive, and it's not disruptive necessarily in a way that makes me go, this thing needs to go right now. I can't do anything. It's like, no, you can recast it if you want, or you can spend your turn answering this, and then you're still going to have to recast your commander. It's not a Fiend Hunter. It's really annoying. definitely mana positive, and you're going to draw a lot of cards just from people casting their commanders or random flashback spells. And random, like, wombo combo with this is you can start exiling people's stuff, and if you have a Drannith Magistrate, they just can't cast it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. But there's tons of random little things that are casting from not your hand. Like, there's also, like, Madness. Every single Madness card.
If you're against the Madness deck, it's game over.
It's so good against something like a Madness deck. There's a million ways that you don't realize it. Any impulse draw is also just another way to Cascade. And it's just, there's a million little you cast from not your hand all the time and you don't realize it. I think this card is just much more powerful than people give it credit for. What you can do with this is you can exile their big threat that costs a ton of mana, makes them spend all their mana and get it back, and then you draw. Or you can exile something like their Soul Ring. Sure, they're going to recast it.
Take the card.
You'll take the card. You get some card advantage out of that, and then next turn, when this bops in, take another card away.
I was really stunned because it started at $3, and I was like, yeah, it's going to stay there. We ordered a bunch of them. I don't regret it. This thing is absolutely worth its weight in gold. It could go in almost any deck that is like blinky or attacky. I don't think it's even restricted to just budget.
Agreed, 100%. I think that Aerial Extortionist is just a strong Magic card, period.
How about a 1-mana 10/10?
1 mana 10/10, well, that would be Primeval Protector, currently 37 cents. And when it enters, it puts a counter on all your other creatures. I'm actually just a big fan of this card. I think you want synergies with it. +1/+1 counters decks. Really, really love this specifically because that's where you get the most synergy.
Power matters. Anything like Selvala or Return of the Wild Speaker, all that stuff. This thing it's really just a 1-mana 10/10. Your opponents don't have to do that much. 3 creatures each, basically, plus throw 1 extra in. Any board state that's in the mid to late game, this thing is 1 mana.
Yeah, exactly. And it's super strong with all of your Beast Whisperers, Guardian Projects, all of these cards that say when you play a creature, draw a card. Paying 1 mana, getting a 10, and putting a counter on your team and drawing a card, that feels like cheating every time.
Yeah, there's, I guess, an important distinction to make because we always kind of crap on big vanilla creatures because it's not that impressive. 7 mana, 15/15, I'm sleeping at that. I don't care. But the fact that this is a 1 mana 10/10, the investment is almost nothing. So anything we get after this card enters is just gravy because it does something when it enters. It distributes power. And it doesn't need to do much more, and it just does. It's a 10/10.
Yeah, sometimes it costs a little more, and that's okay. You just usually just don't cast it those times, or it's the only thing you can do when you cast it those times. Like, this card really does get down to 1 mana super often, super easily. It
feels pretty good.
It feels so good. I've been a huge fan of Primal Protector. It's a card that we put in the queue because it's like, hey, lower power fun, and then we were like, oh, no, wait, maybe this is just good enough.
Let's get this in our actual deck.
Yeah, let's put this in some real decks.
Slippery Bogbonder puts a hexproof counter on something. Maybe your commander has one of the silliest artworks I've ever seen and is kind of unbeatable in certain scenarios.
I really, really like this card a lot. Again, I want some counter synergies usually.
Yeah.
You can just throw this as a way to protect your commander in any deck, as it's really cool as something like a Skullbriar deck, which doesn't even care about moving counters from other stuff, but it can. Just takes the hexproof counter and moves it from every zone. It's super silly.
Never goes away.
Yeah, exactly. So Slippery Bogbonder just is a great protection spell. And if you're moving counters onto your Voltron type commander, my spots I play it is Helena. Oh my God. It's so silly because you just take all the counters from your team, put it onto this, and then she redistributes those counters again because that's what she does.
Yeah, really good with that and like Forgotten Ancient too. You can go end step, boop, everything's over here, and then whoosh, redistribute.
Oh, it's so good. Bogbonder, I am just like Aerial Extortionist, BC was shocked. I am shocked this thing is under $1.
It's impressive every time.
It is just a great Magic card. It lets you blank. Even if it just lets you blank 1 removal spell, that feels really good. That feels strong. And if you added moving counters with synergy, oh, this card gets silly quick.
Oh, yeah. And Gingerbrute is a 1 mana 1/1 that sometimes has haste, sometimes has unblockable. Well, it always has haste. And it's just like, it doesn't look good at all, but it actually just goes in so many different decks that I think it deserves a place on the BUDGETBAAHMS.
Yes, I think Gingerbrute does deserve a place here, but I think very specifically with this card is you do need a lot of synergy. You need a reason to be playing this card. Don't throw this in any deck. This isn't just a generically good card, but I love it in any type of like ninjutsu, combat damage getting through, like your, what is it? Who's the guy that's like when you deal damage to an opponent, draw a card?
Oh, Edrix, even Liara wants to attack different players.
All these things. And this thing can make itself unblockable, essentially, except for things with haste. It's a strong Magic card. It outperforms every time when your deck is good at it. Ninjutsu. Oh, this thing loves to be ninjutsu. You didn't know it, but when Gingerbrute attacks, it was actually a ninja the whole time.
It was training to be a ninja.
Yeah, Gingerbrute, you can also, in your Satura Reserve deck, ninjutsu this in for 1 damage.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Broken.
the sick part is, you attack with Ginger Brute Ninjutsu, then you play it untapped, and now you can sack it to game life.
Yes, and because it has haste, you can just do that right away.
It's broken.
Broken.
Just like Solemn Simulacrum, a.k.a. Sad Robot, a.k.a. Expedition Beer Gut, it's 60 cents, and you're going to get a basic land and draw a card when it dies.
Yeah, Solemn Simulacrum is a staple of this format, especially on a budget, especially in non-green decks. This card just goes in a lot more decks. I think that, yes, a lot of people are off it, and I think in higher power DH, yeah, it's fallen off a lot. But we're not necessarily talking about higher power all the time here. We're talking about a level. This is just a good card in your combat metas, in your 8 and lowers even.
I'm so glad it's not like $5 anymore. Your budget decks that are like Esper, Grixis colors, they need this card, and they're happy to play it. And it's like a weird divination. And it's like one of the cards you get is a land, and then one of the cards is it dies, and then you get like, half of a card off of just having a stupid chump blocker in play or a sack fodder.
Yeah, sack fodder. I mean, this thing has a lot of little synergy. Solemn Simulacrum, obviously good in non-green decks. I don't know how much we can say this. We do budget bombs every month. We did miss a couple months, but why don't you check out a couple months ago?
It's a great budget bomb.
Peace out, Tribe Scouts.